Hi, this is Beardy Monkey here from the Razor's Edge. I'm chatting to C, Diddy and T, the top axeman and drum lord from the Big Dirty. Woo! Welcome, gents. How are you?
Hey man, thanks for having us on. Hola.
No problem at all. Firstly, could you introduce yourselves?
Well, there's only half of us at the moment. You just introduced, but yeah, we're the Big Dirty.
Awesome.
The Big Dirty, baby.
we are the Big Dirty. We are a filthy four-piece from Northampton.
Yeah.
Although one of our members now lives up north somewhere.
That's me.
Yeah.
In Mordor.
Stocksley. North Yorkshire.
Together, we've got myself, C Diddy, T on the drums, and then we've got JC on bass, who can't be with us, and Johnny on vocals,
who could be with us, but has chosen not to be.
Fair play.
Having a play with himself somewhere, I think.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit of the. The Big Dirty is pretty new to me. So just tell me a little bit of like an origin story, if you would, to the band. How did you guys come together and whatever?
Sure, okay, I can take this one. Well, myself and T, we're actually the babies
with the
new members.
We saved it.
Yeah.
It was all falling apart.
Pretty much. The band sort of, in one fashion or another, had been going for a long time. They've been going under different names and various bits and bobs, but the Big Dirty as it is now, with all of us in it, has sort of only really been going since end of 2018, really.
Okay.
So I suppose you could say we're a relatively new band.
Yeah.
But formed in Northampton, we all sort of came together, I suppose you could say, out of the wreckage of different broken bands and things like that. And the Big Dirty, as it is now, has been going a couple of years, playing lots of filthy music and having a good time doing it.
Awesome,
we haven't actually done that much though, when you think about it, have we? Like I said, as the lineup that's been together since 2018, I think we've done how many? 10 shows or something? 12 shows?
I would say more than that. Obviously,
I don't think so.
The first half of this year, we've not been able to do anything for obvious reasons. That sort of slowed us down. But I don't really know. I can't remember the amount of shows.
I genuinely don't think it's more than
shows, to be fair.
We've done some stick festivals,
Yeah. I mean, and how many bands can say they've gone and recorded at Maida Vale? That's pretty epic.
Nah, man, to be fair.
It's so good.
So what have you guys been doing post pre COVID-19? Where have people been able to see you so far? And so I mean, like, what you just sort of mentioned some of the festivals that you played. Where have you guys played so far?
We've pretty much played all over the UK. Done a lot down in London. Played at the Camden Underworld with Heavy Petting. That was a good laugh.
Nice.
Yeah. We've been up in Scotland, all the way up
Scotland
to Lockhead. Yeah. We played at Wildfire Festival in Scotland, which was epic. That was
such a road. We all went in the same car, didn't we? It was such a road trip. We thought this is a bit of what it's going to be like when we tour.
Yeah.
But a lot crazier.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a long old drive up there.
We've had some really good highlights, to be honest. As I say, playing with Heavy Petting was a big one.
Yeah.
Sort of iconic 80s rockers. We've recorded at Maida Vale Studios in London. We've done loads of wicked stuff. The Northampton Music Festival, our sort of hometown music festival, was epic as well. So we've had some really good highlights in run up to COVID, and then COVID sort of put a brick wall in front of us.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be honest, we're battling through that pretty well. We're always trying to make sure we're active, and obviously we're releasing new music, and we've had singles coming out. So the Big Dirty name's still flying high amongst the wreckage.
Well,
higher than ever, I'd say, at the moment. We're in like the best we've ever been position-wise.
Yeah.
Aren't we? Streams and everything that can be happening behind closed doors with COVID.
Yeah. Well, I was just sort of having a look at your Facebook page, and obviously, your Spotify streams are flying. I mean, like, I mean, like, one of the kind of things I was going to sort of talk to you about is obviously from the early days of like the sleaze rock in the 80s. to nowadays, you know, do you think it's easier for musicians to sort of get yourself out there and get yourself known, or do you think it's harder, or what? You know, 'cause I mean, like, you know, it sort of seems to be like nowadays, you've got so much competition and things like that. I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts, because it's such a big scene, the sleaze rock scene, even today.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I mean, in a way, we're kind of in a niche genre, because we don't see many bands around doing the same stuff.
I was talking to my friends the other day, and we were saying that this is the kind of only genre that hasn't actually come back around yet, isn't it? Sleaze.
Yeah.
Sleaze rock is the only genre I think. Like, dance music's kind of come back in waves, like old school kind of ravey tracks, but sleazy rock, like that kind of glam sleaze, is the only one that hasn't. Where I don't think anyone's, apart from like the Darkness, maybe.
Yeah.
They had a bit of it. But yeah, it's like I think it's the only thing that hasn't come back. Sorry, what were you saying, Chris?
Well, yeah, that was basically it. I was saying, I think you're kind of right there. I think we're kind of in a bit of a niche genre. So in terms of, if you want to say competition in that genre, I don't know how many bands are out there. Obviously, you've got the likes of like Crazy Licks and people like that over in Sweden. That are
Steel Panther?
Big, Steel Panther. But
they're more like a parody, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of independent acts and things like that, that's why I think we're able to sort of stand out a little bit, because we're a little bit different from the sort of AOR kind of bands and the classic rock bands that are sort of resurging at the moment.
Yeah.
But I mean, as always, there's always going to be lots of people to I don't want to say compete with, because I don't think that's the right word. I think bands should always stick together and help each other out and stuff like that, but there is an element of competition to it as well. But I mean, there is a lot of bands out there, so you've got to do something to stand out. But at the same time, things like Spotify and Apple Music and things like that, they provide a platform for these artists to get noticed. So it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I think. It is harder to get noticed, but then at the same time, there are platforms out there for you to do it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, obviously, just sort of going back to, obviously, about sleaze rock. So, obviously, that is, am I right in sort of saying that's your main influence? Or you know, is there anything else that sort of moulds your sound? So I know, obviously, you guys label yourself as sex rock, and obviously as a new genre. You know, what kind of moulds your sound? You know, does it come from multiple genres?
Well, I mean, sleaze rock is sort of the primary focus that we're sort of aiming ourselves for. So
I think it's kind of fallen in our hands, though, isn't it? It's kind of that's what we all like, and I don't think we ever picked that. I think that just happened. It was a case of like, what we're going to wear for this gig, and then somebody got some mad pants, and then it has just kind of developed, and then it fits in hand with the jokey kind of fun side of rock. Like, so the way our image is a big factor in what we're doing, but also the rock is not like a serious genre of rock. It's more like fun. So that's where this kind of sleaze thing, I think, has fallen from. It kind of just fit hand in hand, isn't it?
Awesome, man.
But I mean, similarly as well, I think as individual musicians, we all have our own individual influences as well. So they kind of sort of show their faces in our songwriting, if you like. So
we have an influence playlist on Spotify that we could maybe link.
Awesome. I can send you we've got a link of all our
it's got like
we like and things like that.
A big mix on there if you're interested in the actual influence.
Awesome.
So link that. That's a good idea.
So you hear like the heavy music. We've got like Here's Legend on there, who Jesse is a big fan of.
Bruce Springsteen, Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac, Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy.
Andrew WK, Johnny Loves. So I mean, as a band, we've got a really big eclectic mix of people that we listen to. But I think we focus mainly together. It sort of comes together in sleaze rock, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you know, I say you know, from all those influences, you are kind of, you know, molding your sound to make it's one of those things. I think when you sort of I know from sort of previous bands that I've been in when I've been writing, and I've tried to sort of stick to a genre but at the same time do my own thing and that sort of thing. And obviously, by obviously you guys moulding and using all your influences, it helps with that, I suppose. So, I mean, just a quick question for both of you, really. If you could play with 3 bands, who would it be and where would you go? What would be your main tour dates?
If what? Sorry.
If you could play with 3 bands on a tour.
Oh, okay.
Who would it be? And
as in like CDD playing guitar, like sessioning for a band, or do you mean like the Big Dirty supporting?
Yeah, Big Dirty going out. You could be headlining if you want.
Big Dirty headline. Who would you want to play with?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I mean, for us, I think, like we're saying, we're Sleaze band. Motley Crue would be epic. I think that'd be a great laugh. But the Motley Crue of like the 80s, not Motley Crue now, because I think we'd just leave them in the dust, wouldn't we?
Bath in bed.
Yeah. Just gonna have a lie down, guys.
Absolutely, Motley Crue, Steel Panther, definite, because that'd be a great laugh.
Yeah, they're probably the most relevant, aren't they? In terms of like the crazy sides, the way they dress and all that. That would fit. That would work.
And maybe someone like Twisted Sister. That I'd love to go and play with them. Like they were sort of like the iconic guys, but dressing funky. They're all dressing as women on stage and things like that, and just not caring.
Yeah.
In fact, that tour, us, Motley Crue, just Steel Panther and Twisted Sister would.
Oh my god!
There you go.
Just be crazy.
And where would you ideally want to go? Any cities that you'd ideally want to play in, any venues and stuff like that? What would be your top 3?
Wherever would pay us to go and play.
Fair enough.
Like have you seen Red Rocks in America?
Yeah.
So that for me is the iconic venue. It's in a cave. It's in an old. So you literally everyone's seated in a.
It's like an amphitheatre, isn't it?
It's amazing. If you've not seen it, just Google it. Red Rocks.
Yeah.
I'd love to play there.
I think as well, like iconic venues like the Whiskey as well would be a good one to go to.
Yeah.
And then of course you've got all your stadiums. How epic would it be to like headline Wembley Stadium or something like that? That'd just be insane. So you've got all like the iconic venues, which would be awesome as well.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. There's so many wicked places to go, so many awesome bands that you could play with as well. But I think that tour would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, man, definitely. I mean, to be honest, I kind of I didn't limit you there by saying around the world. So, obviously, let's come a little bit more sort of home-wise. So, what's your thoughts on kind of the UK music scene at the moment? Any bands that you'd recommend? How do you feel that the Big Dirty sort of slotting into? What is such a heaving and exciting music scene that we've got here in the UK?
Oh.
So there's about 10 questions in one there.
Yeah, that's a question for Chris.
We've developed some really, really good friendships with various different bands throughout the time that we've been going, through playing gigs here, there and everywhere. And I think, at least in the rock scene, it's very much alive.
Yeah.
And there's very much scope for bands to be able to go out and do really, really well.
Yeah.
I mean, from our hometown, Northampton, you've got the likes of a band called like Empire, who are doing really, really well for themselves at the moment. And actually, Toby's played drums in another band with their guitarist. I mean, I think the independent or underground rock scene, if you like, has got a massive amount of support. You can see it on social media. Like, you only have to go onto our Twitter or something like that, and the
people that like it, they love it, don't they?
Absolutely.
They're all up for kind of following every day. If we put merch out, they're on it. They're on it, sharing the music. Like, it's not just people like the band. It's like they properly get behind it and support and push it, don't they?
Awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've got some really awesome, loyal fans out there who are absolutely amazing.
We played at a couple's wedding, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which was, I think they asked us at a festival once, and we were like, oh yeah, no problems, and then didn't really think anything of it, And then they sent over an email, didn't they, with like an itinerary and all that. We were like, oh my god, we're going to do. It must be like a biker type themed wedding.
Yeah.
And we got there, and it was a gorgeous venue. You know, really normal. Everyone's dressed smart. And we literally were walking through the audience in like zebra trousers, like whiskey pistol. We were just like, oh my god. But yeah, they were just like, no, we want the big note, because we were saying we don't do covers. We maybe like might throw in one or two, but it's more a case of like we just with the Big Dirty Originals band, and they were like, that's exactly what we want.
Yeah.
And people loved it, didn't they? Like Auntie Marjorie, she was at the back. And, like, even though it's not like her. I've made her up, by the way. You know, like you just got random numbers and stuff.
Oh, good! You should have kept that going, man.
Yeah, like I think because we're an energy on stage as well.
Yeah.
Even if you don't really like that sort of music, it's entertainment to watch. If you've never been to like a crazy rock gig, like C Diddy was up on one of the tables with his guitar, like in a wireless pack, and soloing in the middle of someone's table, and it's just like they were like, what's going on? So we've had some sick opportunities like that as well, to be fair.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the question, I mean, I think...
Yeah, sorry.
Off my tangent there, but yeah, I think the UK scene, particularly for us in the rock scene, and it can be sleaze rock, you know, classic rock, grunge, whatever. I think there are great opportunities for people to do well. You've just got to put yourself in front of the right people who are going to listen and enjoy your music.
Yeah.
And social media is the one for that, definitely.
Yeah.
Just if you're active and if you connect with people on social media, and if you're genuine about what you're doing as well, I think it shows, and people will support you.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So obviously we talked a little bit about obviously the dreaded COVID-19. Oh God, when will it end? So have you guys been spending your lockdown? Have you been learning any new skills, any new instruments or anything like that? What have you guys been doing?
I think our singer Johnny has learned how to knit. To be honest,
he's been working, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've more or less worked all the way through it.
And JC as well.
Yeah. So for us, in terms of work, it's not affected us too much. But I mean, obviously in terms of gigs and performances and things like that, we're stopped in our tracks. So we have to make sure we're really, really active online and things like that. So have we learned any new skills? No, probably not. We've just been
carrying on with the ones you got.
More online, yeah.
I'm actually primarily a drummer. That's why I earn all my income, to be fair. So
yeah,
I've found it difficult, but I've started doing like bits of painting and selling it, and I've put it out there, and people are loving it. To be fair, like I've got a little Etsy page, and they're just buying artwork as and when people can.
Awesome,
basically, what Toby does is he does self-portraits. And it's
just like
a tiny stick man with a massive schlong. He's selling it for £100 a pop.
And people dive in.
Sold how many?
Big Dirty fans can't get enough. I've sold nearly 250,000 now.
So what are kind of your premonitions for what comes next? You know, what do you think is going to happen with our music industry? Obviously, it's a big question at the moment, but I'm just, like I've asked a few people. It's like, what do you think is going to happen? What, I would say what would you like to happen, but we wanted to go back to who it was.
It's going to be a while, I think.
Ideally we'd be out gigging straight away. If we could go out and start gigging tomorrow, it'd be awesome, but that's obviously not going to happen. So I mean, I don't know, it might be next year before we can go out and perform. Obviously it's putting venues at strain because they're not making any money through ticket sales or behind the bar or things like that. So it's a really, really tough situation, and I can't predict where it's going to go, to be honest. But I think this is where sort of being as active as possible comes in, to play, is really, really important as bands, and just making sure you're out there. And if you can release new music, if you can record, or if you can just do like a little live performance on your phone, anything just to keep your name out there, I think that's the most important thing bands and musicians can be doing at the moment, because it's just not clear what's going to happen, and I have no idea. I think, I mean, we're due to be gigging in December, and that's with Heavy Petting again, but whether that actually happens, I don't know. It's hard to say.
You have to kind of book them in though, and act as if everything's going to be fine, and if it's not, then just deal with it as and when. I think that's our approach, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just live, go on like you're still a fully functioning band, but just sort of adapt to the circumstances at the moment. But to answer your question, I really don't know what's going to happen, and it's it is worrying. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, definitely.
I think so. My friend Adam plays for Tom Grennan, who's smashing it. To be fair, he's at that next level in the pop world. Yeah, and artists like that are doing, like car. I don't know what they're calling them.
Driving shows.
Driving gigs, So, and you get like a little square, you park your car up and you can get out of your car, but everyone's parked like 2 meters away, so obviously you're limited on how many people you can have there. But I think that might be a thing for a while. Yeah. If people can make a thing out of that, so at least you can then get to a gig.
Yeah.
The only issue there, though, is that it's not feasible for sort of smaller bands to do, really, is it? For independent artists, that's really only possible for bigger acts. So, it's a tough one.
So, I mean, sort of moving on to a bit more brighter news, I suppose, would be the one. So let's kind of talk about your new album coming out. So you've released 3 singles so far, haven't you? From your first full-length album, The Sex, which comes out on the 17th of July 2020. So those are Dirty Rider, Whiskey Pistol, and your most recent single is Sensual Lover. How have the singles gone down with your fans?
Absolutely amazing. Do you know what? This goes back, like, our fans are awesome and really, really supportive. Yeah. And the response has just been amazing. Like we were talking about earlier, the streams on our Spotify, on our Amazon and Apple have just been going crazy. We're really, really happy with the response, and I think hopefully it's a sign of what's going to happen when the album does land. Yeah. And I think people are going to really, really enjoy it. But I mean, we worked really hard to get to where we are with releasing the music and getting the album together. So we're absolutely chuffed with the response, and so grateful for all the support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, what can we expect from the rest of the album?
Ooh, more sleaze.
Lots of sleaze.
We've been quite clever, to be fair, with the releases, because we've put out like two like proper Big Dirty tracks. So, fun, a bit grim in lyrics, a bit like sleazy. It's like I've played one to our lass's mum, and she was like, "Oh," but that's what we want. We have a specific audience for songs. I think the third single, Sensual Lover, is more of a like commercial rock track, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so we've put out like the first 3 on purpose, because then it's like it shows more of like what we're about.
Yeah.
Whereas, have you heard them?
Yeah. I was listening to them this morning. I was doing my research.
Yeah. Could you tell the difference between like the jokey ones and then the kind of Sensual Lover, which is more of like a
it's kind of like you've got your big stadium track rock stadium. Oh God, I'll put my teeth back in. Stadium rock track with Sensual Lover. As I say, we're like obviously Dirty Rider and Whiskey Pistol are like your sort of more fun tracks, party tracks, and that sort of thing. So I always think it's quite good to have a good mix with your music anyway, and obviously I think my sort of background is a lot of death metal and things like that. But even then, there's sometimes when I could just do with a little melodic break.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, that's kind of personifies what's going to happen on the album as well, because even though we've got sort of a mixed bag in there, it still sounds like us. It's still consistent in its sound, but we've sort of mixed it up. We've got some real heavy numbers. We've got
some really low breakdowns.
Yeah. For example, we've got a song called Devil Woman.
Yeah.
Which it starts as like a classic bluesy rock number, and you think, oh yeah, I've heard this kind of thing before, and then all of a sudden we've got this massive drop, and it's almost like going to a proper like breakdown, almost Slipknot-esque, heavy stuff. Like I'm tuned down to drop A on my guitar on that, so it's low and beefy, and then all of a sudden we come out into like a
don't be giving too much away.
Well, no, but I think we've tried to play on dynamics and play on people's expectations and be fun but musically interesting at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it will show in the music. I think there's something for everyone. So, like for yourself, if you're a fan of like death metal and things like that, there's elements within some of our songs that will probably appeal to you, and other people who like slightly softer songs, we've got that as well. We tried to be really open with what we're offering to people. So there's
it's diverse, but it's very much a body of work as well, isn't it? I think you can tell that every song's the Big Dirty, but it is as diverse as could possibly go, you know, without it being a crazy album with like a bit of pop, a bit of jazz, a bit, you know, like some people release those kind of albums.
Yeah,
it's definitely more of a body, but it's we go from one extreme to the other extreme.
Yeah,
but it flows like. You'll hear it on the 17th.
Awesome. Well, obviously, you know, like so the album, as we just sort of said, comes out on Friday the 17th of July. Is there anything, obviously, at this point? I mean, I feel like we're at quite a good point to end the interview. But is there anything that you guys would like to promote or anything like that? Have you got anything coming up in the pipeline? You know, what can we kind of see in the future from the Big Dirty?
I mean, at the moment we're just on full throttle album promotion. So
obviously with gigs it's still a question mark. We're going to fight and push forward for them, but who knows what's going to happen there. All we can be doing is what we know that we can be doing, and that's like the social media side of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. So promoting the music. So I mean, for us, the big thing is the album, and if you listen to this interview and you kind of think you might enjoy it, then please definitely go check it out. Because we're so grateful for the support, and anyone who takes the time out to listen to us, you're a hero to us.
Big kisses.
Big kisses and lots of love. So I mean, for us, it's album all the way, and 17th of July for us is our Judgment Day, if you like.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be coming in through a time portal, and he's going to come and tell us that our #1 album has just landed, and he's going to take us to the future and save the world or something.
He's going to ask you to close your boot to your motorcycle.
Yeah. So I mean, it's full throttle album promotion, and that's kind of where we're at the moment. Gig wise, it's as T says, it's a tricky one. So for us, just that's it. And also, you know, if you're listening to this and you want to come and chat with us and connect with us, hit us up on social media as well. Definitely, we're on all the usual ones: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And our handle on all of them is at Big Dirty Rock. That's rock, not cock.
Big Dirty Rock.
You might find something you not want to find. But come and have a chat with us. You know, we're more than happy to have a chat with people. We love meeting new people and chatting music and being silly and having a laugh. So definitely do that as well.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, guys, for chatting with me here at the Razor's Edge. You know, I wish you guys all the best in the future, and hopefully, whenever this lockdown can go, I'll hopefully be able to come and see you on the stage at some point.
That'd be awesome, mate. Thank you so much for the chat.
Kisses.
Well, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Nice one. Thank you, gents.
Lovely.